Well, hello there, Vince.
Hello there, Aaron.
I see you got the memo. You came dressed appropriately for our meeting.
I did, yes, to talk about business today.
when I knew that we were going to do this topic, I was like, I'll wear a suit. And then I'm thinking in my back of my head, I'm like, Vinny's going to do it too. I know it. As soon as you popped on, I was like, I knew it.
We didn't plan this.
We didn't.
We did not talk about wearing suits.
But as both people who have owned a business before, we can recognize the importance of looking good for your colleagues, representing your company.
Sometimes you got to look the part to play the part, you know?
That's right. So today, we're going deep on business. Biznasty.
I was about to say that too.
I
We
know
got to
you were.
stop it.
Yeah.
We got to stop doing
we
the same
finish
shit.
each other's sandwich.
Sandwiches. Remember we used to wear suits on Friday at school?
Yeah, that was short-lived though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we kept saying, it was like Zoot Suit Friday or something like that, but none of us
we
actually
did that.
had Zoot Suits.
Yeah, no. Well, Ian might have because he was in show choir.
Yeah, but none of
Or
us had,
show
like,
show queer, as we called it back in the day. Which
that was a very short-lived. I don't know. You have these ideas in high school. You're like, we're gonna do this. It's gonna be so funny, and then you do it for like one Friday, and you're like, all right, that's over.
what else was that? What else would that falls under that? Did we have other wacky ideas like wearing suits to school? Remember when I had that trench coat?
Yeah, that was weird.
And some people thought I was like up to something.
Yeah, didn't you get it from a thrift store or something?
Yeah, I was just like cool, like big long trench coat.
Cool.
Yeah, it was different.
It was different.
It was weird. It was weird.
It was
I wanted
weird.
I wanted to be weird.
Well,
I wanted to look like a danger to everyone around me.
goal accomplished. So, Vince, today we're doing the podcast a little early because scheduling wise, we I'm sure people could hear it in your voice. But did you just roll out of bed?
No, I've been up since 6 a.m., my friend.
What?
Yeah.
Nah.
I have. I got up at 6.
What have you been doing?
Jerking off. No. That's gross. I had to feed my snakes. I had to
You don't have any snakes.
All right, I don't have any snakes. I got up, I stretched a little bit, made some coffee, took a shower.
That's important. Hygiene is important for business.
It is, and also the business of hygiene. We can get into that in a little while. We can talk about shampoo. We can talk about soap. We could talk about the dentist, even.
Anything's possible.
Yeah, but we're doing it early. Were we gonna? Is that it? Was there more to that? You're just saying we're.
I was just saying that I was impressed that I thought that you had just gotten up and went right to the computer. So I was impressed. I was like, man, did he sleep in his suit or did you just get ready really quick? But you've had time. You understand the fundamentals that Gary Vee teaches, which is like get your day going, hustle or start early in the AM.
Rise and grind.
Rise and grind, indeed.
Tiny's awake too. He wants to. Do you want to come in and be part of
let the cat in.
Do you want to be part of the business, bud? Yeah, he's a business cat. He's got a lot of great ideas. I don't take any of them.
Meow, more food. Meow.
Yeah, man. Rise and find your passion in life and turn it into a business. If you're not, you gotta. Let me tell you something. Surround yourself with people.
When we started FND, I think that's a good starting point for business.
Sure, yeah.
When we started FND Films, we were wee lads.
We were. It's 2008, 7 maybe even.
I mean, when we started making videos for FND, like we formed FND before that. It was like 05. But I think we actually on paper became incorporated like '08 or something.
Incorporated.
I think we just started making just enough money where my dad was like, you should probably, for tax reasons.
And your dad's a businessman.
He's Mr. Business.
He is Mr. Business. We could also get into that later. But yeah, so FND Films is an S corp.
Mm-hmm.
That means super corporation.
Super corporation.
We're granted powers and abilities. No, there were some times when doing the business side of F&D was like fun. And I've explained this to you before, because we are in the business of being creative, Aaron. We're in the business of using our imaginations. And sometimes when you're playing around in La La Land, you just want things to make sense. And what doesn't make sense more than numbers on a spreadsheet? And there were some times, Aaron, where I would take refuge in a tiny I would take refuge in the QuickBooks program, and just because 2 + 2 = 4, and that's it. Okay, what's the motivation of the numbers? The number 2 doesn't have to go down. The number 2 doesn't have to go through an 8-step plot point thing. They just add up.
Well, because a lot of companies have a designated financial person, but you were you were a de facto.
I wanted to take it on.
I don't remember why or how early or who you just kind of. I think you were like. Can I tell you
a story you might not remember?
Yeah.
When we were going to our first tax dude. Well, I think I can say that I think because you were doing more of like the editing stuff, like you were kind of doing a lot more of the finishing touches on the movies, and I was like, well, he's kind of taken on a little more of that workload. Like I can do this, just like I just thought it was something I could do. But there was a time when we needed some document for our first tax dude, and like I didn't have it, or like there were supposed to be some numbers on a hard drive or something I fucked up, and you're like, Vin, you gotta like take this more seriously. You kind of gave me like a talking to, and I was at the market, and I was in the back,
no.
like I was in the back, like one of the back like grocery air, like one of the back grocery rooms, just like sitting in the corner of this like dusty like grocery room, just on the phone with you, just feeling like, oh God, I fucked up. Yeah.
I shouldn't have come down on you.
It's fine, Aaron. It's part of our dynamic a little bit. But also it was like, I mean, it's not a big deal. It was fine because I was like, you know what, I do got to take this more seriously, and in a way that was helpful. So don't worry about it. No hard feelings, buddy.
And this is where business and friendships get tricky.
Oh,
we've talked about it on the podcast with Coop before.
Yeah, a little bit.
When you got to run,
we can get into that later. Oh, sorry.
Everything we bring up, you keep saying we're going to talk about it later.
I know, it's a bit I'm doing.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, I don't know. Like I think that we've weathered that storm really well, all things considered. We've talked in the past about how, I wouldn't say that it got to, you had mentioned before was like, hey, can we be friends first? If things got too business heavy and we were like, too focused on just like making money and like what's the next job. And it's just like, hey, like, can we hang out? Because every day was like about, like working on this project or working on the next film.
Yeah.
And we didn't have like much downtime to kick it, which is kind of funny because like when you look at the dailies, it seems like all we were doing. But those were few and far between of like, like a few minutes here, a few minutes there. But a lot of it was focused. Our energy was focused on how to survive as F&D.
Yeah. Well, you saying like it was, it was about making money. It wasn't even that. It was like, and I think that too, but like just even like writing together, like outside. Like if we had a more traditional business that was like, I don't know, some selling some product or some service, but it was like even like being creative partners, it's like that to do all those things takes a toll.
Yeah, I guess when I say making money, I guess just all encompassing, like, do the job that we have outlined it so far as to, keep going as FND. So yeah, you're right. It wasn't always about money, but it was like, oh, we got to shoot a daily. We got to do a sketch. We got to do this ad. We got to push ourselves and blah, blah. And then you add social media into it, which we talked about before, but it's like, we got to push ourselves. And then you get into this fun little thing, which now it's become much more prevalent in the last decade, is you are the brand, And
Yeah.
it was like, as FND, yeah, please go ahead. You're going to say let's talk about that later?
Let's talk about that in a minute. No, because I do want to talk about, I want to talk about what it's like. I just want to event how much it sucks talking to the IRS.
Oh, yeah. No, I didn't want to bring up any more of your pitfalls about, accounting for FND because I didn't want to rag on you.
No, it's fine. You can. Please do. If we're talking about running a business, though, I just wanted to quickly explain my experience of just hours. Like, I wish I could tally up how many hours. Remember how we talked about when you die, it'd be cool if you can see all your stats?
Yeah.
I would want to know, like, how many hours were you on hold with the goddamn IRS?
Yeah, they're awful. We've clearly vented about them before, but they suck.
Have I vented about them on here before?
I think we've just briefly have talked about just how much they suck, but it's just like it's so bloated and like slow and
what's amazing to me is, I mean, that whole like we owed a bunch of money and like I kept calling to try to like get it resolved, and then like I'd be on hold for an hour. I'd get through to someone and like they'd be like, "Let me transfer you," and then I would lose the line, and then someone would tell me like, "Oh no, like someone would tell me like, "Oh no, you're gonna have to pay," and then I call back, and eventually someone was like, "No, you're good. Like don't worry about it," and it was fine. And I likened it to like you like resetting the NES over and over again until you finally get what you want.
Yeah, when you told me that was resolved because somebody was just like, "Oh no, it's not a big deal." I was like,
yeah.
"What? It doesn't even make sense."
I didn't. I wish I could explain it to you, but yeah. Aaron, what would you say over the? Because again, I think we're not as far as business goes, because business is a big term.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big broad term. I mean, you can talk about business. You can talk about like a company with fiduciary responsibility. You can talk about mind your own business. You can say mind your own beeswax even.
Ooh, get them.
You could say let's get down to business.
Whoa.
That could be a multitude of things. What would you say are some business do's and don'ts?
Oh. And this is just generally speaking. This isn't like, hey, going into business with your friends, do's and don'ts.
I don't care. Just give me some business do's and don'ts from your perspective as someone who was president, should I say, of a multimedia S corporation.
Yeah. You get out what you put in. Let's start there. I think that you can't expect something to just grow wings and fly. And I think like a lot of people like have these get rich quick schemes in their head. Oh, I'm going to do this and then I'm going to sit back and the money is going to pile up,
Oh, yeah.
No, you got to work for it. You got to work for it. And
we call those lazy Susans. No, we call those expectant eddies, or I don't know.
Point taken. Yeah. And also you got to lead with compassion. That's really important. If you're at the top.
Wrong, I disagree, but go ahead.
I think my philosophy is that you need to be good to people. You need to treat people well. We were in the position of, like, look, we worked for a long time with a lot of our friends, more so than just you, me, and Coop. We paid a lot of our friends, whether it was like crewing up jobs, and like, you need to respect their time and energies and pay them right. And also,
well, you don't need to do it. You don't have to do anything. You don't need to do anything. Let's get that out of the way.
You should.
Sure. Okay. Maybe. If.
Well, let's hear yours then. I think that you have a very different. Wow. Did we? How did FND not flounder under your leadership?
It's about Aaron. See, now I'm gonna do a thing where I'm like, you gotta step on people, you gotta take what's yours. But it's like, okay, obviously. But what other? How else could I play this? I don't know, man.
I think that, like, I think for us it was a learning experiment because, again, we had like all these things that we did for free, sketches, and oh, hey, you want to shoot something, and like people would just lend their free time. And eventually when you're getting ad jobs, it's like, no, that doesn't, you got to pay people what they deserve, especially because, like they're your friends, but not only that, because like you've worked on so many, it's like, that's the time to do it. When you can get some ad work with like a budget behind it. Even if we had like F&D work, like It's All Good, for instance, as small of a budget as that was, we still took tiny chunks and we were like, hey, we want to pay for your time. It's like, amounted to nothing, but, it's not like we were paying ourselves for that. We were paying for the film, so.
Yeah. So you're saying a business dues pay people.
You got to pay people.
You got to pay your employees.
Got to lead with compassion.
Okay.
You got to put in some hard work.
Okay.
Don't think it's going to run on autopilot.
All right.
You got to have fun.
You got to have fun. That's the most important.
Got to have
fun.
You're
not having fun. Oh, so, because I've been going into, cause the company I work for has an office.
Oh yeah, tell me about that.
I've been going in. Well, I'm just bringing this up real quick to say you got to have fun, because that made me think of the building I'm in. It overlooks a graveyard, which is just beautiful. Which is this beautiful poetry in real life, and so because you're gonna be dead, because we're all gonna be dead soon, So you gotta have fun.
You don't want to look back at 60. You don't want to retire and be like, man, that wasn't worth it.
You also don't want to retire and have not have 401k and not have a strong crypto portfolio and not have made waves in the industries that you
not made a name for yourself.
Yeah.
Somebody said, I read recently.
You don't want to die in nobody.
Like, we polled a bunch of retirees on like their regrets in life or what, and it was everybody saying like, you're not going to think back and be happy with how like hard you worked, or like, oh, I gave up my Saturday for that company. Like enjoy you time, which kind of flies in the face of, I know what I was just saying, which is like work hard, but work-life balance is super important. So many people drowned in their work, man, and it's just so unhealthy.
Do you think any of the old people had regrets about like I didn't. Well, I was gonna say like they like maybe one of them had a regret about like not jumping in that ball pit when they were like 30, because there was like a ball pit, but they couldn't jump into it because it would have been weird because there were a bunch of kids in it, but like it would have been fun for them. But I was also thinking, if these are old people, like, did they have ball pits? Like when? I feel like this is. You're looking at me like what is he talking about?
No, me? No, go on. No, this is a total logical place for your brain to have gone.
Because I was thinking, like, Aaron, I was trying to come up with, like, what a funny regret. Like, I didn't jump into that ball pit. But you said they're old. And I'm like, wait a second. Well, when these old people were young, were ball pits even a thing?
Who cares?
Well, I did. I do.
All right, has to make sense. Type up on your computer machine, when did ball pits become a thing? And then you can do the math and see if 70 or 80-year-old people were around.
When was the first ball pit? 1976.
Okay, so probably not. So that means just our parents came in, like they were growing up with ball pits, but not their parents.
The idea was inspired by looking at a jar of onions and wondering what it would be like to play in something similar.
A jar of onions.
What? That's wild.
Who would have thought? I haven't been in a ball pit in a long time, and I don't know if I'll ever be back in one. Actually, that's a lie. The girls.
The last?
Yeah.
Well, you let them go in the ball pit?
No, not like... I'm trying to think of in public places we have. No, but just like ones that we have at home, like they have the plastic balls.
I feel like you got to let them go in one McDonald's ball pit once because that's good for their immune systems.
Oh, for sure. I think you knock out probably like 10 diseases just doing that.
That's kind of a funny way to think of ball pits, is like community inoculation.
Yeah, you don't need vaccines. Just jump in there.
Jump in the ball pit.
Go wallow a bit in the ball pit and be right as rain.
The last time I did get in a ball pit, it was like wet. Like there was something
really?
wet. I just remember like feeling moisture in the ball pit.
I mean, if think about this. If you were to duke in the bottom of a ball pit, how long it would take somebody to find it?
That poo would distribute evenly amongst all the balls before anyone even noticed.
Or even pee. If you peed, then it would be just like you said, where it's just like it would be coating some areas, and you'd be like, some kids, but like the kids that are getting in the ball pit, they're not gonna think about it. Kids don't have those sensations where they're like, oh, this is wet. This could be any number of bad. Substance, like I'm gonna get out. No, they're not.
They're too busy having fun,
they're
like
I'm
running
having the
from
time of my life.
Yeah, there's a dragon in here. I gotta get out.
All of this onion pit.
All right, so let's get back on track because that's important.
Yes,
let's stay on track. If you had to start a business, God, we've talked about this. Because remember I talked about having the lights and laser business.
Yeah, that's right.
God damn it.
We're gonna come full circle with like all of our conversations. And nobody wants to say in the comments, like, you've done this before, you've done this bit.
We got to start writing everything down that we've ever talked about.
Transcribe it and read it the night before. Okay, we haven't touched this. Well, one thing that we haven't talked about is remote working, Vin. You and I are both remote workers. Do you dress like this for your meetings?
No.
What do you dress like? Isn't that funny how like I feel like dress code just kind of went out the window with remote work?
Oh yeah, the first time I had when I started the job I have now, the first couple work meetings, I wore like a button-down shirt, or I wore like something nice, and everyone else was like wearing like shitty t-shirts, and I was like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, hoodies.
This is great.
Yeah. No need.
I mean, there's sometimes when you're talking to like a client and you can't just dress like a slob all the time, but
client calls are different for sure. But what's funny is like when you would go into the office, it's not like you would have clients there. You would just have other coworkers, but you still got to, like when I got my job at your company, like I pretty much was wearing something like this, blazer and button up, and nobody else there was dressed like this. I mean, they all had like decent clothes on, but I was like, well, I'm way overdressed. And I think I should have known better. The advertising world is a little more lax. Not to say people dress crappy, but remember when we would go to, when we'd get ad gigs and we would go to post houses and they'd be like, you want a beer? And I'm like, isn't this your office? Like, don't you work here? You're allowed to drink? And they're like, yeah. Let me pour you a whiskey. You want some candy?
Yeah. And then you saw Mad Men, and you're like, oh, they were always doing that.
It's just, carried over for many years.
There's some White Claws in the fridge at where I'm at, and I haven't had one yet. But maybe on Friday, maybe I will.
Wow.
Maybe I'll grab a White Claw and I'll stroll through the graveyard.
What if your office was packed and people just got tanked there? What if it was just, what if there was like
having
50
orgies
people,
and stuff?
Oh, not necessarily. Just like getting blacked out, like just
having a
total
freak
mess.
Fest?
Do you think that they would like can that policy pretty quick and be like, oh, maybe no alcohol in the facility?
As long as everyone got their work done.
Sir, there's people pooping on the desks and having orgies. Well, did they meet their quotas? Yes. Then it's fine.
Wasn't that Rome, basically?
Yeah, all of ancient Rome.
I feel like they always depict it. Like, every time, the last time I saw, like, historical footage of Rome, they just had two people doing it, like, in public.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember where I saw this. Like, it was a reenactment, you know. There was historical reenactment footage of Rome, and there was just like people having sex on the street, and they didn't really like call to it. It just was happening. And
it's interesting. I don't ever recall that. I wonder if that's true. If it was just like out, and it wasn't like a brothel or something.
Like how like wild they were being all the time. Yeah, I don't know.
They did drink a lot of wine.
Yeah, Rome is like a business. Is
it?
Well, yeah, because you have strategy, and you have input, which is your, which is like the people and like all the slaves you have from all the other countries, and then you have output, which is like, you know, minted coin. And so yeah, it's like a business. Every country, dude, Aaron, everything is a business. You are a business. Remember I said we'd get back to this later?
Yeah, you can circle back.
You are a business. You are a brand. And corporations are people. The world is topsy-turvy. What's your brand, Aaron? I hate that when people are like, you gotta brand yourself. You gotta be a brand. It's like, shut up.
I know.
I hate this world we live in.
On the same page about it. That's why I don't think I'm good at doing it, is because I don't like the idea of it. I don't like the feel of it. I mean, it's like this damned if you do, damned if you don't scenario. Especially in our case, where it's like you're trying to make a name for yourself, like either as like a filmmaker or, you know, whatever. You want to put your work out there. That's how people see you. That's how you get job opportunities. I understand like the reasoning behind it, but just the act of doing it feels icky and a lot of times disingenuous, you know? It's just like you're posting stuff because you're feeding the content machine. Mm-hmm. Screenshot of my screenplay, like this, it's coming up, like, I'm working hard, like you're filming yourself typing on the keyboard. Another day, gotta put in the pages, you know, like we have friends that do it. You got to do it. Like, I get it. That's how you get jobs, and we've done similar stuff. I get it, but it's icky.
Yeah.
All right, now you please go. I'm stepping down.
No. It's great. Ditto, man. Ditto. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I can't start to criticize it without just criticizing everything about the world we live in.
I mean, you kind of do it yourself, though. You know, like you've got Game Goth, you've got your own. It like in a way, that's what's weird is you have to play the game, right?
Well, no, this is why I'm different. This is why when I do it. This is why when I do it, it's fine.
Yeah.
No. Well, no, it's all the same shit. Well, if you're like in the business of entertainment, or you want to be an entertainer, like, I guess in a way you are the business. You know, if I was like selling pogo sticks, And I was like, and I had my pogo stick factory. I'd be like taking pictures around the pogo stick factory. Look, we're cranking out these pogo sticks.
Mm-hmm.
Look, we're coming up with a color story for the pogo stick.
Yeah, I mean, it's no different.
But instead it's like me with goth makeup on, or like me doing like a funny little thingy.
Well, I think that the difference is like if you're selling yourself, if you're like an influencer, if you just are a content creator, then in turn the product is you. So it's like this weird cycle of like, you're selling yourself.
Hey, you know how people say, like, especially with like all these freemium games, these games where it's like you don't pay, and people are like, well, if you're not paying, you're the product.
Yeah.
Okay, I kind of don't agree with that, because like I've played Fortnite, I've played lots of games where you have to like pay to like get shit, but I don't pay for it. Yeah. I just play the game and I don't buy the dumb stuff they want you to buy. And so how am I the product?
They're using your info. They're your trends.
Like Fortnite is using my.
Yeah, I mean it's all probably feeding into their algorithm. Oh, what free skin did you choose? What like how well did you do? What are your stats? Like what?
Well, but specifically with video games, I don't understand what's this data that they're really like gonna do a bunch of shit with.
I don't really know, but I mean they're probably hoping that. Okay, have you streamed Fortnite, for instance?
No, I've streamed like Apex Legends.
Oh, there you go. I mean, free promotion.
Right, but I guess so.
And the bigger the game gets, the more the people that do it, the more that you're basically marketing their game to, as many as can see it. I don't know. Maybe I'm just speculating here, but it works. It works because there's people that are going to buy a skin on a pistol for $50 or something like that. When we had Wood on here,
hey Wood, if you're listening,
he had a good point about the Pikachu ears on Halo or whatever. It's like that takes a minuscule amount of time for the artist to create, and you can sell it for 1/6 of the price of the whole game, which takes years. Yeah, it's like of course they're just making money hand over fist.
That's a good business to get into. We should create a game. We talked about it. We talked about creating a board game.
Oh, a board game. Yeah, I was thinking a video game. Both of which we have zero knowledge of how to do.
Did you used to create levels when you were in school? I used to create little levels. Like on paper, I would draw out like a level.
Yeah. Well, I used to. I've talked about it, I think, a little bit. I used to create levels on Half-Life. They had a level editor. This is not Gary's mod. This was like pre-Gary's mod, but there was a engine that you could create your own levels, and my brother used to do it on Doom. So I love doing that stuff.
So the Combine shooters. Have you heard of Mario Maker?
Yeah, I never have gotten into it.
Yeah, me neither, but it's also, you can create levels. Go on, bud, get on out of here. What's your brand? Give me quick. You want me to invest in you, clown? Quick, give me 5.
I'm a clown. Did you just call me a clown?
I don't know. Are you? You're standing here with big shoes on. Give me 5 words that describe your brand. Go.
It was poop.
Poop. Okay.
Driven. Sleepy.
That's 2.
And tired. And anxious.
Okay. Guess what? You're getting $100,000.
Yes.
We think you're different. We think you're different. We think you're unique. We think you got something others don't.
Let's talk about the job hiring process, because there's a lot of that's a big part of business, is you're trying to find good employees.
That sounds boring. You better make it interesting.
You do this to me every time. We pick this topic. You picked it.
All right, so you're hiring an employee.
Okay, don't bring the shade to me when you're gonna go for 10 minutes on ball pits. Make it as fun as you want. Yes, and Vinny.
All right, you're hiring. What are you looking for?
I've
Or
never
do you
been in
wanna
that
talk-
situation. I was going to talk about how you got, like, were you nervous? Like when you went to the interview process, how did you stand out?
Okay, well, let's give a little context that you helped me get the job. Okay, let's just get that out. Let's get that out of the way.
I referred you.
You referred me, and I didn't
wouldn't say I helped you get the job. I just put your name in the pile of papers.
Yeah. And this is an editing job, and the first time I didn't get it.
Oh, that's right. I forgot that you applied twice.
Yeah. And like I said, showed up to the meeting. I had my nice button-up shirt on. I had the tie. I had a tie. I wasn't wearing a tie. Well, I was nervous because I didn't know After Effects that well yet. You know, and I have a problem like lying, or like if I have to like kind of upsell myself or like kind of pretend I can do something that I can't, like the whole fake it till you make it thing. Mm-hmm. I can kind of do it, but I'm not great at it. I get real sweaty if I have to start like weaving a web of lies. Weaving.
Do you think that they can tell? Is that why? Are you just like, oh, I'm gonna get caught. I'm gonna get caught.
I just feel like I'm gonna say something, and then they'll ask like a follow-up question, and then I'll say something that contradicts what I said because I don't know what I'm talking about. Well, I don't understand what I'm talking about well enough. Specifically, like with After Effects, like I forget like what I was saying, but like, I mean, they were asking
in the first interview. I think you told me like, I don't know After Effects. You just came out and said it. Like I'm just not that good with After Effects yet, or something.
I think I told them I was like still. I think I told them like, oh yeah, I've been using it, but like I'm still learning. And I said, I think she asked about like dynamically linked project files, and I think at that point I kind of like caved. I was like, yeah, I don't really know. I'm sorry, but I'm definitely.
I was lying to you the whole time. I don't know how to edit.
But I'm definitely I'm a quick learner. That's the fallback. Oh, I learned so quick.
But you did.
Quick, teach me something right now and I'll learn it.
Okay, quantum theory.
It's hard to prove in the moment though that you're a quick learner.
Yeah, you could have whipped out your Rubik's Cube and acted like you didn't know how to do it. Oh. And then just boom, just be like, okay, let me just look at my phone to see how these things work. And then you're like, I think I got it.
Oh, yeah, it's okay. See? Told you I can do it.
Easy.
Anyway, yeah,
I was sweating in mine, too. I think I'm a little... I think I can hold it together a little bit better, maybe. I'm not saying I, like...
lie. Oh, okay. Yeah, all right.
Well, I know you. Like, I'm just going off of what you told me yours was like.
Sure.
You know, like, I think I instilled a little more confidence in mine. But it was still, like, my first job interview, like, in years since FND. It's just...
Right.
That was the main chunk of our careers. And so I was, like, you know, trying to prop myself up. You know, saying the whole typical, like, I'm like a team player. I communicate well. I'm a wizard with video. You never seen anything like it.
Did you say wizard?
Yeah, I said I was a video wizard.
You didn't say that.
Yeah, I said I carry a proprietary wand that I can edit with, and it's my design, and it's hooked to my computer, and all I have to do is an abracadabra, and it edits my videos. And they're like, that doesn't exist. And I'm like, wouldn't you like to know? And I held it up, and they were like, oh my gosh, we got to have him. He's a fucking video wizard. That's what happened.
What are your biggest strengths?
Editing in seconds.
What's your biggest weakness?
Editing in seconds, because then they give me way too much work.
I always say my biggest
weakness. It drains
weakness,
my mana.
I say my biggest weakness is like, my biggest weakness is beautiful eyes and a nice smile. And I looked right at, because I had a female interviewer, and I looked deep into the camera. What?
Just careful. What are you trying to insinuate?
I'll just stop then. I'll just not even continue. I was trying to... Whatever. I don't know what I was trying to do.
Oh,
my biggest weakness is a pair of long legs. That's what you say, and then they say, "Get out of here." Yeah, that was weird because, just going through the process is weird.
Yeah, it kind of sucks because you feel like you're just like one in a long list of, at least when you have the interview, it's like, oh, okay, they like me enough to talk to me. But man, applying for jobs with just like resume after resume, like sending it to places, it's terrible. It's just because you feel like there's no hope. The only reason I got a call back for the one that I submitted to your company was because the recruiter recognized my name from a previous ad house that we worked at through FND. She was like, wait, FND, Aaron, Frank? Oh, I think I know that person. Like, that's the only reason.
Yeah.
And I don't know if, that's probably not a good thing.
Well, I mean, it is that you did all that. You had all that, years of work leading up to it.
Yeah, but it was only because, like, again, it's all who you know, and I guess
you mean like for other people, you seem like,
yeah,
like, man, it must be tough.
Because it wasn't about my experience at that point, in which I had plenty. It was like, oh, I recognize you. Oh, we've worked together before.
Yeah.
So that kind of felt, and I can only imagine somebody who's not in that situation.
Well, I guess I should say I feel like, again, you pretty much got me the job. I pretty much am like, it's like
I'm the only reason you got that job.
I'm pretty much nothing.
You were nothing. You were a little
pretty
tiny
much
worm.
nothing without you.
Yeah. And I
would still be.
I said, please. I know he looks like nothing. He's just a literal miserable, just ball of ooze. But just please take pity on him and just break his back with as much work as you can, and you'll tame him into submission. Yeah. And they went for it.
See, because we don't have. I wish I could ask you, like, what's like the most embarrassing. Like, we don't have a lot of the stories.
Embarrassing work stories.
Yeah.
Nothing that'll ever top our one buddy's story.
I wish we could tell it.
Can we?
I think we can
tell it
in so many ways.
We're not gonna say like any names.
Yeah. So we have a friend. We'll call him.
Joby.
We'll call him Joby. Joby. We have a friend. We'll call him Joby, and he's got a real lame accounting. He's a real lame white collar accounting job. Sorry, I'm kidding. I'm just trying. But I'm not. And they were on a company-wide meeting. They had the whole company there. Like a couple hundred people were there, including like the CEO and all the top brass were there. Upper management was there. And Joby has a coworker, and we'll name him Timothy. Timothy was in the bathroom while on the call and taking a dump. And Timothy sets his phone down.
Like in between his legs.
Yeah. So like, imagine you're sitting on the toilet. Yeah. And you put the phone
on the ground. His video feed is off.
But it's not.
It is
his
not.
His video feed turns on. So the entire company has a shot directly into the dick and I just know the way to say it. The dick, balls, asshole as he's wiping his dirty ass. Upskirt, no skirt, just dirty man nether regions, wiping in the middle, in the most primal, disgusting act, broadcast to the C-suite and the whole company. And Joby sees it come on, and Joby starts laughing because he loves other people's discomfort.
And other people's pain is his energy.
So he's like running to the bathrooms. Timothy.
No, I don't think he was in it. He was at home.
No, I thought he was there.
Oh, well,
I thought
I think he was running to his boss's office, and they were trying to get a hold of him. Either way,
I could have. Well, yeah, whatever.
they were not able to thwart the video feed. They weren't able to stop him, and everybody got a full view.
Dude, so that has to be like, talk about like, well, that one dude, who was that guy that got fired for like masturbating on? They caught him, his video, his camera. That. There was some like news anchor or like some whose like camera was on and he was like jerking it.
What?
And like he like during like a call or something, like he was in the background of the call like masturbating.
Oh yeah, and they canned him, huh?
I think yeah.
Well, have you heard of like all these like raids on like company video calls? Like people,
what, like
people
like
somehow
kids?
find no like for like higher up like companies, like big companies, like grown adults will like somehow raid their calls and just be jerking it. Like think of like chat roulette, except their video
off?
Pops up in front of like everybody.
Whoa, that's
Isn't
wild.
That crazy. That's what the virtual world has given us.
That's crazy to me because it's like, if there's some way they can figure out, if they can link, like there's a video evidence of you doing this. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So like, you better be damn sure that there's no way that you can be like linked to it. Like I'm sure they're using NordVPN. This podcast is brought to you by NordVPN. If you're gonna raid a company and you're gonna be jacking it, make sure to use a strong VPN, NordVPN.
It's called zoom bombing. Zoom bombing or zoom raiding refers to the unwanted, disruptive, intrusion, generally by internet trolls, into a video conference call. Zoom bombed you.
It makes me wish we could get zoom bombed right now.
Oh no! It would just make for some quality podcast content, but
that'd be we would clip it.
We would totally clip it. But
we should plan.
For
we
all
should
else,
plan one.
Oh no! What's happening? Oh, this is so bad. But for everybody else who doesn't want to see that, that sucks. And I don't know, like could you go to jail for that?
Dude, that's what I'm. Yeah, why not?
You're clearly exposing yourself to people. I mean, that would be so messed up if.
I mean, you think if there was a room full of people and then like 30 guys ran in and were masturbating, those guys would be arrested, you know? So because it's on the internet, like.
But it's like weird because it's like, well, it would just have to prove that it was the guy and not like a video feed from another website that somebody else was like. You know, there's like so many loopholes.
But there's right, but I guess you wouldn't be charged yourself with indecent exposure, but there's got to be something.
Oh yeah, there would be something there.
Showing porn to people who didn't want to watch. You broke the law of what's like. I feel like there's got to be some technical jargony lawful term for that, like secondary exposure.
I don't know. When we would watch those HR videos about like sexual harassment in the workplace, though, there was stuff like that, which was just so.
Those are funny.
So ridiculous. Like, and I know it happens, and then I always think like, man, there's a reason that these videos have to exist and we have to watch them because people are freaking idiots.
Yeah, there was.
Hey, Susan, look at this. Thanks, dude. Now we all gotta watch a freaking video about how that's not okay.
Do not show Tub Girl to your coworkers.
Said the obvious. Oh, well. That video, I remember that video too, had like him like taking a picture of his female coworker. She bent down, like showing the other coworker like, oh, look at her butt. God, so stupid. But again, there's a reason. Because people are idiots and they do that stuff.
Somebody did it.
Now we all have to just watch and learn and take note. Okay, I won't do that.
I mean, dude, how do you know if you didn't see that video you wouldn't have done that yourself?
Nobody showed me that I can't take a picture of her ass.
Yeah, don't harass people at your business.
So you've been going into your office place recently. Because now all these remote all these companies that are remote and have all these employees everywhere, they like also sometimes will designate like a space for you to go. Yeah. Like, hey, we've got a communal work center in case you want to get out of your home and like come and work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is it like a Google Pad? Like, is it like really swanky? Like it built so like you don't want to leave?
I mean, yeah, there's a gym, there's a basketball, one of those like arcade basketball games.
Mm-hmm. That would keep
coffee
you there.
Machine. There's Sour Patch Kids.
Could you sleep there if you wanted to?
I don't think it'd be comfortable, but like I could find like a.
Do you think they would call you out if they found out? I mean, because you said that it's a huge place, and how many people are there?
I mean, I've interacted with like 5-6 people there.
How much do you think they're paying?
The guy I was talking to was like, he's like, they're probably paying like $100,000 a month for this.
Lordy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Man, $100,000 a month for 5 people to go and.
There were more. I mean, when I was in there, there was a group of like, because like the conglomerate owns it, so it's like,
right.
They have all, it's like the parent company owns it, so there's multiple companies that can come in there, and the one day I was in there was like a group of like 8 people all hanging out, but I talked to a few other people who came in and they were like, yeah, there was just like, usually there's nobody here. It's just for the space. I mean, even if there was 20 people there, I mean, the space could fit like
so
easily
underused.
like 2. Yeah, it could fit like 200-300 people, like no problem.
If you were to like, just say like, I'm not going back home. I'm just gonna like shower here, sleep on this like terrible.
Yeah, I could do it.
And would they be like, we're gonna promote you? They're like looking on the cameras. Look at this, sir. This one hasn't went home for 2 weeks. All he can do is he can sleep and work these ads.
He's the most productive employee we have.
Give him a
Give him a
dollar
raise.
more.
Give him $1.
Give him $1. He'll do anything more for $1. These rats.
He's killing the rats at night too. There's rats in the building, and he's also he eats the rats to survive.
We don't have to buy any company kitty cats anymore. This kid will eat the rats.
We have these feral employees.
They'll just eat the rats. We could just take out the vending machines. They don't even need food.
We could put rats in the vending machines. We can put peanut butter into vending machines. It'll draw the rats in, and they'll just eat the rats.
And I got an idea. Maybe we'll garnish their wages and pay them in our own kind of currency so that we don't actually have to pay them real money that they can use anywhere else.
And then they can use the money as credits to purchase stuff, to purchase the rats from the vending machines.
Yes. That's for anybody who doesn't know what they used to do. Old coal mines used to do that.
Company script.
Bad. Not very nice. Can you imagine buying toilet paper from your coal mine store and they only have like 1 ply?
Yeah, and it's made out of coal. Toilet paper's made out of... You just buy a rock. You just buy a rock from the mine.
Here's your wiping. This is what you wipe with.
This is your wiping stone.
Yep, that's what you get.
It's sandstone, too, so it's going to wear down over time. Can't have you using one stone.
You got an old guy who's like, mine's nice and smooth as butter. I've been using it so many years. It's going to take a long time to get this way, though.
You got to know how to clench right when you're wiping. You can make it last longer that way.
Wiping with stones.
You can also turn them into some beads. String them together. I'll show you off the clock.
Would you say that we have a pleasant overview, like an outlook on companies?
I'd say it's pretty in line with how others think and feel.
I think it depends on the company.
That's a weird question. I don't quite understand that question.
I don't know. I think just like in general, do you think that
Is my overview of companies positive? What kind of companies? Every company? Every single company? It's a lot of companies.
Just like the structure, I guess.
Structure? What structure?
There's
many ways you can structure a company.
From a political standpoint, I think that some people would argue that the bigger the government gets, the more inefficient, the more bloated, the more waste, yada, yada. I mean, like, that's how a lot of people are like, small government to big government, blah, blah, blah. Do you feel that with companies? Do you feel like they reach a certain point and it's just like, oh, this is just excess. This is just bloat. There needs to be some trimming. It's just too big to function properly.
Well, I mean, Well, Aaron, if if the company it wasn't going to function properly, it would fail. But is that always the case? Will they, or will they get a bailout? From the government?
Check
and that's
the banks.
And it's not socialism for some reason. But I mean, dude, let's talk about Blockbuster. Let's talk about business disruptors. Imagine if we had Blockbuster original videos, like instead of Netflix originals, it was like Blockbuster.
An alternate reality when Blockbuster
we're
just destroyed Netflix.
Where they saw what was happening, like they saw the advancements in technology, and they're like, we need to pivot. We need to do what they're doing now.
I could be wrong, but I think that I read that there were executives at Blockbuster who laughed off Netflix. Like early on, they were just like, mail them. Yeah, go ahead.
Do you think they were laughing as they were looking down the barrel of that revolver?
I don't know. I think that somebody made a couple really poor calls there.
Yeah.
But again, it's like they were the kings. They had their little video empire, and they were sitting on top, and they were like, la, 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 nothing's going to touch us. And then along comes somebody, and they're just still like a little small fry, and they're like, oh, that's cute. Oh,
you're using the postal service for your company? Oh, wow.
Yeah, we actually have locations in every state. And then after a little while, they're like, people like that. Okay, we'll mail them. We'll mail them too. And they actually did that too. Blockbuster would mail you them. We got to compete. And then they're like, oh, you're going to have a video online service? Wait, what? You're going to stream? What's streaming? What does that mean?
That sounds cute. That sounds like...
Do you remember Netflix, like, very early on, like the streaming service? I don't. Like, I can't recall, like, when they launched it.
As far as I know, it was like one day we were getting mailed DVDs, and the next day Blockbuster was gone, and Netflix was already creating their own shows. I don't really remember the interim. Like. I don't know what I don't remember the early days, of the streaming service.
I mean, I remember very early days of Netflix. We had it at college, and we were just getting DVDs in the mail. We had remember our queue? We had like 50 movies deep at all times, and we would like shuffle them around. It was so exciting to get like the red envelope in the mail and be like, oh, it's our movie.
Oh, it's Rashomon. We're going to watch Rashomon
because
tonight.
that was exciting because you had to watch the movie. It wasn't like you didn't have a billion choices. It was like, this is what we get. You know, like, hope it's good. We're going to sit through it. We're not going to just like cancel out of it in 20 minutes and then go about doing something else or change it.
Yeah.
That's what I kind of liked about that. Now,
kids
these days.
Kids these days. KDT. It's a shirt. Let's make sure. We gotta start branding, Aaron. We gotta start branding this podcast. This podcast is a business. We need merch. We need NFTs. We need to have meet and greets. We need to have
live shows.
NFTs. We need to have headphones. That's proprietary headphones that you can only listen to the podcast through our headphones.
Buy our headphones, and the only thing that will come through them is our episodes when we record them live, but you're not going to know when it is, so you have to wear them all the time. So you could be in the shower or gardening or playing football, and all of a sudden it's like, Fonecallz is on.
And they'll be shaped like a telephone. It'll be like a big telephone hat you wear on your head. Because it has to be branded appropriately.
Yes.
It'll come in 3 different colors. Brand. And there will be a Bluetooth option, but we'll talk about that later.
feel good about business.
Yeah, dude, business. I think we knocked it out of the business park. Business parks are funny because it's like, this is not a park. Don't try to make these two things into one.
You corporation.
A park is for looking at a butterfly and going, ooh, yeah. Wow. A business is for sitting at a desk and going, fuck.
Two very different things.
Two very different things.
Well, thanks everybody for listening.
Hey, something I'm going to do next episode, I feel like I've done it a couple times, is that you'll say something and I'll repeat it immediately after you.
How do you mean?
How do you mean? I just fucking did it.
What?
I feel like there's times you've said something and then I'll quickly repeat it like immediately after you.
Cool. Like, as in, like, that's a cool thing, or that's something you want to
No, it's
doing?
like it's an annoying thing. Like, I need to just allow some breathing room to happen on my end.
Oh, sure, if you want.
I'll work on it.
Yeah. This is just talking. It's just something we've been working at for 33 years, so we'll get it down.
Gotcha!
All right. Thanks for everybody for listening to Phone Calls. My name is Aaron Frank.
And my name's Bill Jimmonson.
See you tomorrow.
Bye.
It's Phone Calls.